So one of the things I've really been noticing in my life of late, of this past couple of months, is how a lot of the different things, the different projects and pursuits and passions that I've pursued, hobbies that I've projects, all kinds of things that I've pursued over the years, even though they seemed kind of divergent. And a lot of them, at the time, after I got done with that little phase of my life, like, well, that's not going to come in handy. I used to say I had all this useless knowledge because I learned about these things that maybe I would never use. One of the things I've been noticing lately is how these things are all starting to come back together again. And I'm starting to see, maybe it's just because I'm getting older, I don't know, but I'm definitely at a phase in my life where these things are starting to integrate and it's starting to make sense. These things that I thought were rabbit holes or side tracks or different things, it's like they're now coming back around and I'm enjoying them in new ways. Or I learned lessons that I'm now using in my life to develop something else. I'm standing on the shoulders of one project to do another, and they're all kind of coming together. And so it's just really good to realize that sometimes, especially if the project or the passion, if it was a true passion, it was a true calling that you were drawn to, and not maybe a true rabbit hole or a distraction, something that draws you away from your passion. And I think so that's that's the discernment, the thing that we're teasing out is like this thing that I'm drawn to. Is this a true passion, a true calling that I can trust? If it is that, I'm going to grow and evolve on my spiritual path. Even if it seems to take me away from the path I thought I was on, it's eventually going to come together in a way much like I'm experiencing right now. And one of the ways to think about it is in terms of passion or feeling. Okay? So is this thing that I'm drawn to, is this project or this thing that I'm drawn to, is it something that allows me to have feelings? Is it something that like awakens and honors and like allows me to have my feelings and my passion? Or is it, on the other hand, is it something that distracts me away from my feelings or like shuts down my feelings or helps me run away from my feelings? You know, one of my favorite definitions for addictions, and I don't just mean drug addictions, alcohol addictions, work addiction, shopaholic, addiction, anything that's kind of a compulsion. One of my favorite definitions for addiction is anything that all addictions manage feelings. And that was, I think, John Bradshaw. He was one of the early, proponents of addiction and codependency. This is like 30 years ago. He developed a lot of this stuff. And so if what I'm going to call passion, a project that allows our feelings to flow and express, and we can follow and feel them and explore them. That's the one thing. Whereas kind of addiction or compulsion or a distraction kind of is a way of not feeling. It's a distraction away from feeling. And that's a real gauge to whether, how, that I use and that maybe it would be of value to you. It's a real gauge on how to follow our path. Like if we're considering, do I do this? Do I learn to, one of the things I did, about 3 years ago is I learned to play the didgeridoo because I was drawn to it. And it was kind of like some of my Aboriginal spirituality. And so does that thing create passion and feeling? And, or is it a distraction? And that's kind of the discernment that I would invite you to employ when you think about the various things that you want to explore in your life. And as we minimize the addictions and the running away from our feelings, and we now have more energy and more resources to invest in the things that we're drawn to. And then we can follow those things, even if they don't make sense, even if they're not, leading in the direction that we think we should be going. It's like if we follow that thing, okay, and it feels like we're going down the rabbit hole, but if it's something that we're drawn to and it has passion, it's allowing us to feel excitement and joy and beauty, and we're fired up about it, then we can trust that will be, evolving us and expanding us and helping us move down our path. And we can also kind of trust that even though it doesn't make sense now, down the road a little bit, we'll start seeing how that was an important part of our path, that by allowing ourselves to have that now, it will create value that we aren't expecting or can't see yet down the road some. Just much like I'm experiencing now. And so it's really cool because playing the drums and the didgeridoo and all these things that I thought were kind of, at times I thought they were kind of wild goose chases. I can see how they all are fitting together in not only in my life, but the way, the medicine that I offer people. It's all, and not only the things, but just the experiences that those things gave me. I'm really kind of seeing how that's all coming together. Perhaps you've experienced that as well. So that is something to consider, is to just trust. If you're drawn to it, it has a lot of passion, it has a lot of feeling and excitement. I think you owe it to yourself to explore. And on the other hand, if it's not something that you're allowing you to feel, maybe it's not. Maybe you could not do that as much and divest that energy from there and invest it in something that you have a true passion in and creates a lot of feeling and richness for you. So that is my video for this week. And I hope you have an amazing week. And possibly as you go through your week, maybe use that discernment. Are these things that I'm drawn to, are they creating excitement? Are they creating passion and allowing me to feel and express my feelings? Or is it more like they're a distraction or a way of managing or shutting down feelings that I don't want to feel? And then perhaps that can be a guide for you on your journey, as it has been me. And I will see you in a week.